Hello friends, welcome here. My name is O-Sheena. I'm glad to have you. I'm going to be sharing all of the best nonfiction books that I read in 2023, and they're all Christian. They're all like Christian living, theology type books. Some of them are devotionals, and that is like mainly the nonfiction that I read. I do read a couple memoirs here and there, but I'm not talking about any of those in this video. Christian nonfiction is a genre that means a lot to me. It's helped me a lot on my faith journey, and I definitely will continue to be reading those kind of books. So I wanted to share the best ones that I read this year. And my favorites are like really good, so I'm excited to share about them. And I'm just gonna start off, I think, with my favorite of the year, because why not? It's definitely Waymaker by Ann Voskamp. This was my first ever book by Ann Voskamp. I fell in love with her writing. It's very poetic, very like metaphorical, and I feel like it just described life in such a like deep heart way that really connected with me. I just resonated with the way that she told stories. It meant a lot to me, and it was just so beautiful. So basically this is about her life. You do follow kind of the beginning of her marriage and then into having children. And even though none of that applies to me, the life lessons and just the stories she pulled from her own life still really spoke to me, and I saw myself in her in the way that she described her feelings. So I felt like it was very relatable despite like where you might be in your life. And then it's really about how to deal with life's disappointments when things don't go the way you thought they would, and when you're just feeling like really down about the direction of your life. Just that there is still a waymaker on our side in Jesus who has a story for us that is good and that we can trust, and that there's no mistakes with him, and we can trust that he is going to turn everything for good even if we feel like we've failed. And I just found everything so encouraging about this book, and it was just beautiful. Like it to me, this is a work of art. Like, I mean, obviously it's a beautiful book, but then just the writing itself as well. So yeah, this spoke a lot to me, and I'm so thankful to have read it. And I definitely recommend it if that sounds good to you. Yeah, super encouraging. Okay, next favorite is definitely Tailor Made by Alex Seeley. Again, it was her writing, the way that she like spoke directly to my heart with the stories she was telling. Like, it just, again, she's telling stories about her life, but I think when women are like really honest about things that they've gone through and the raw emotions that they had through it, but then how they really surrendered and like opened their heart to Jesus for healing is so inspiring to me, because I feel like no matter what you've gone through, that is relatable. Like feeling like you want to like protect yourself and close yourself off and not let God in, or anyone really. But then to like see these strong women that I can look up to who have been through terrible things that I haven't gone through, and they have every reason to like doubt God's love for them, but then to see them like still trusting him and still turning to him, and then seeing how he like transforms their lives is so inspiring to me, and that's what I want to read, you know? So I loved this book. I would highly recommend it. Yeah, she just talks about her life and how she struggled in her family and feeling just not wanted, then how God just totally met her in that. And I was just fully encouraged by this book the whole way through. So highly recommend. I loved this. Okay, next, The Case for Miracles, Lee Strobel. I love his writing. So there's just like, of course I'm gonna love this book, but I mean this, so I will say this was 4 stars, not 5 stars, but it was still the best of the year because this was, it was unique for me. I have never read a book fully about miracles before, and like modern day miracles, and it was so encouraging and really fun to read this book, seeing all of the miracles happen and like just kind of be in awe of what God can do. This definitely stands out to me. Like, I probably should just give it 5 stars, but I think there were like certain parts that lagged. Just kind of hearing some of the interviews that he had with other people and their thoughts on miracles. Like, some of it was like, why do I care what this person thinks, you know? Only a couple times that happened. For the most part, it was like full of stories of miracles, and I loved reading that. So yeah, this still stands out. I'm still like so happy to have read it, and I'm just like really inspired by Lee Strobel, and I love what he writes, so I can't wait to keep reading. Okay, and then I've got some devotionals. So first up, A Path to Redeeming Love by Francine. This is a 40-day devotional that is inspired by Redeeming Love, the book. And so at the beginning of each day, there's like a passage from Redeeming Love in it. And that was like the best part, because reliving parts of Redeeming Love, like, come on, this book is like my soul, okay? Everything that I want to hear from God, all about his like unconditional love for us, that is Redeeming Love, okay? And then this book just like capitalizes on that and like really digs deep into so many different aspects of surrender and trust and love, and I loved it. Like, it was almost like this was like kind of like a sequel, or maybe just like a part 2 to Redeeming Love. Like, if you like Redeeming Love, honestly, this is so good. And then look at the stinking cover. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. 5 stars. Like, this flew by, and it was 40 days, but it still flew by, and I was fully encouraged. So super happy to have read that. And then I just carried on and read another Francine devotional. And these are from friends. These are from my booktube friends. And like, I'm so thankful for the women that I have made friends with online who like encourage my faith. Like, that is so special, and like only God could have done that, you know? I mean, I love Francine and I love her books, and like these people got these books for me. So this is another devotional. This is Earth Psalms. I think this had 52 devotionals in it. And this, I mean, clearly it's beautiful as well. This was like visually like, are you kidding me? Like, come on. Look at that. Just like gorgeous photos. And I love flowers, seriously. Seriously, they're all flowers. Some of them have, ooh, look at that. Yeah. So this was studying different Psalms. They weren't in any certain order or like theme, really. Like, each day was different, which was fun. Like, you never knew what you were gonna get. And it's just so cool how there can be days that line up exactly with what's going on in your life. And it's like, oh, God, I see you. That's really cool. And so again, absolutely love this. 5 stars, highly recommend. Like, the writings, like Francine, seriously, she is such a good writer. And then I found like, so after each day there was like a reflect, apply, and connect with God. So reflect and apply had like kind of questions and like reflections to have for yourself, and then connect with God was a prayer, and then they had the verse. So it was great. Every single thing was so great. And yeah, so both these devotionals, I think these are the only devotionals I did this year, but I mean, they were top tier. It was amazing. So definitely recommend. And for devotionals, like, even if you get behind, who cares? Like, because the nice thing was, so this one just had like numbers. It didn't have a date. And then did this one have dates? No, it just had numbers as well. So again, they were just date. They didn't say like an actual date. So who cares if you get behind? Just like, you know, read the next day that you're on, or read 2 days in a row. Like, who cares? So yeah, that's the nice thing with these kind of devotionals. You can like use them whenever you need to. So yeah. So those are my favorites from the year. Those were like the top tier. There were others that I rated like 4 stars as well, but those were like the best of the best that I would recommend. So I'll write them all down below. And now I'm going to share my TBR for 2024. I did this last year in my last year's video, which I'll link down below. And it worked really well. I actually read almost all of the books, I think. I actually haven't fully checked. No, I did. I did read all the books. So that's really good. This is definitely a bigger stack. So I don't think I'll read all of these in the new year, but I totally could. Like, it's definitely possible if I prioritize them, and we shall see. But yeah, so I'll just share this list, and here we go. Number one that I want to read. I like in January, I want to read this. Surprised by Scripture, N.T. Wright. I've had this book for quite a while, and I want to read it so bad. I've never read anything by N.T. Wright, but he is like iconic. He's an iconic New Testament scholar, and I've seen so many quotes from him throughout my years of being alive, and everything is like, I like what he says, and he seems really smart, but like really, you know, kind, and like I could agree with what he's saying. So I actually don't know Oh, why the Bible is not as narrow as many think. Okay, so I don't know. Engaging contemporary issues. But whatever, I want to read this book. So this is number one, for sure, top of the list. So if I don't read this in 2024, send me a message and be like, O-Sheena, why? Okay, but I will read it in 2024, I promise. Okay, so this is top one. Okay, other top that I have been meaning to read is The Reason for God by Timothy Keller. Timothy Keller. He's got so many books. I've never read any of them, and he's an interesting voice in Christianity. And I mean, he's recently passed away, so I mean, at least there's so many books from him for me to dive into, and this is the one that I own. So it's says Belief in an Age of Skepticism. So I think it's kind of like reasons to believe in God, why you can trust God, and like why you can trust things that Christianity says. I don't really know. I just think that this is gonna be really good. It's kind of chunky, so I'm like, that's why I've been putting it off, but we only live in the moment, right? So like, these two books, I want to read them, okay? Okay, these are all maybes now. I don't know, all maybes. But okay, here we go. Next is The Return of the Prodigal Son by Henri Nouwen. I have heard this author quoted in my church before, so like my pastor has quoted him. So I'm like, okay, he sounds legit then. And this is like a short book, and anything about the prodigal son I want to read. And I've just, yeah, I just have good vibes about this book. It looks kind of old, and that always like steers me away because, well, you know, if it's written like in a way that I can understand, I think I'll really like it. And yeah, all about the prodigal son story. So I can't wait to read that as well. And again, I've heard good things about the author. So another book that I've had for so long, and I think I put off reading it because well, okay, whatever. I'll just show you. So it's The Gospel According to Jesus by John Macarthur. I've just heard some things about this author that I'm like, interesting. So that's all I'll say. I'm reserving judgment. Okay, maybe this book is amazing and I'll just like take the truth from it that I want and leave whatever else. I don't know. Okay, but that is why I'm like hesitant, because here we go into the controversial people in Christianity that exist. Okay, and then plus this is like kind of big as well, like, you know, small words, and it's a big book, but it's beautiful. Love the cover. And there he is. Great. So I mean, it's on my TBR. We'll see if I get to it, but honestly, like just these feels like enough. But I've got more to show you because I own so many Christian nonfiction, and I really want to read them. And like I said, like nonfiction just is such a great way for me to learn, and it's like another way of learning about the Bible that isn't my own reading of the Bible and like going to church. So it just supplements my faith and informs me. And yeah, there isn't like one author that I, you know, take all my truth from. I try to just like gather as many different opinions as I can and then decide what I want to believe. So there you go. Next, The Great Dance by C. Baxter Kruger. Now I recognize this name because I'm pretty sure I took a religious studies class in university, and I'm pretty sure this guy was quoted in a book that I read, or like an article or something. So like I don't know much about him, but I think he's like a prominent dude. Oh yeah, and the other thing is, wait, never mind. I was gonna say that I thought he was Canadian, but he's not. So never mind. Regent College. But it says Regent College Publishing, and Regent is like, unless there's more than one Regent, there's a Regent like in Vancouver, and I live really close to there, so I don't actually know anything about this guy, but yeah, okay. Regent College Publishing, Vancouver, British Columbia. That's what I thought. So Regent is a seminary college that is like attached to the University of British Columbia, or is it on the campus? I don't know, actually. I've never been there, but like I've heard of it. It has a reputation because it's one of the only seminaries in BC that you can go and get like a master's in theology. So anyways, this guy was published by that, but he's American, so I don't know. Anyways, so you can see I don't know much about this book, but a subscriber sent it to me, and I mean, it was highly recommended, and it's short, so thank you. Okay, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I might leave it at that, but I will show this book. Okay. I Kissed Dating Goodbye, Joshua Harris. I've never read this book, and now it's kind of like, I've only heard rumors. I don't actually know anything about this guy other than like the rumors that I've heard. But I've heard that this guy like isn't a Christian anymore and he like hates this book or something. I don't know. But I have never read it, and I'm curious how it'll make me feel. Because, you know, being a single person, I've heard a lot of different opinions over the years within the Christian circle of like what singleness means like as a Christian, and you know what you should do as a single person, and most of it like doesn't make you feel good, so whatever. But I'm like dying of curiosity about this book, so I just like, we'll see. If it starts to like hurt my feelings, I may just put it down, but we'll see. I have like a fairly thick skin, but also I don't, so whatever. Okay, here's all the books. I'm just picking them all up here. These are the ones I'm going to show. And I mean, it doesn't look like a lot, but for nonfiction, like it takes me sometimes like 2 months to read one of these because I don't read it every day. I like, you know, sit on it, reflect on it. I don't read them really fast. So honestly, I don't even know if I'll read all of these in the new year, but yeah, I did have 2 other ones to show, but I truly don't think I'll get to them. So I'm not even going to bother, but these are the ones that like are standing out to me right now. I'll probably read other nonfiction that isn't here, but these are the ones on my shelves that I'm interested in at the moment. So yes, I'm sure I'll get a lot of opinions in the comments. Let's be really like kind and understanding, and you don't have to worry. Okay, I will read these books with like the full knowledge that the truth is found in the scriptures, that Holy Spirit is the one who like gives me the truth. But these can just like give me some insight and give me some thoughts and help me just kind of like consider things I maybe never have before. And I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that. I don't mind not having answers. So that is why I like to read nonfiction. Okay. Okay, that is everything for this video. Thank you for watching, you guys. I'll write all of the books down below, and have a good day. I will see you in my next video.